Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 16 of the On Deck podcast. I'm your host, Roberto, and today joining me, I have a writer from the Canadian Baseball Network, Melissa Verge. Welcome to the On Deck podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Roberto. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you, thank you. So one of the things that initially brought us together was the fact that you had done a piece on the unfortunate ending of our Seneca program, along with a couple other schools. But I did notice in your kind of little description of yourself on X is that you're very passionate about women's baseball.
Yeah. Yes, that is for sure. I grew up playing baseball. I've played since T-ball, and I did have the pleasure of playing baseball on an all girls team for Team Newfoundland when I was growing up. And I feel like that was an incredibly positive experience. And I also feel like women's baseball is undercovered, so I'm very passionate about telling women's stories who are involved with the game.
Okay. I didn't, that was actually one of my first questions was if you had previously played baseball or even in softball form, but okay, very interesting. I'm curious, what position did you play?
I played a lot of everything. I was out in the outfield a lot of the time, but towards like when I started to get a bit older, I was able to pitch, which I loved pitching. I felt like I really started to have a lot of passion for the game when I became a pitcher. I just loved that position. I felt like I had a home on the baseball field, and I was a bit of a awkward high schooler, but I feel like I really felt like I could be myself on the baseball field, and that was my home and my happy place. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just something about pitching and being, I wouldn't say the center of attention, but it's just you on the mound and just being able to kind of tune everything out and just have that connection with you and your catcher. It's something about it that I just love. Always resonates with me.
Yes, yeah, it's such an exhilarating and I don't know if I want to say powerful, but it's just such an exhilarating feeling when you can get that strikeout and know that you're helping your team. So yeah.
Exactly. So, getting into kind of your background with sports journalism, what made you want to get into covering women's baseball?
I just feel like I've recently started to get into it as I've gotten older, just seeing that it's really undercovered and that maybe there's a lot of stories in the baseball world that have been told more than once. And I feel like for a lot of these women's baseball players, their stories haven't been told at all. And they really have some amazing, incredible stories of barriers that they've had to like get through that maybe the average boy or man that's involved with the sport wouldn't have to do. And I'm just very passionate about bringing those stories to light because I think they need to be told, and maybe telling those stories will help girls that are currently involved with the sport see that they have opportunities with the game beyond uh, just like house league baseball.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's especially for me, I had never really heard of, women's baseball or even had it brought up to me as like, oh, there's girls playing baseball as well. So the fact that you're able to bring light to this topic that has probably been going on for years and many people just haven't known is, I think it's really great.
Yeah. Yeah. Even for me growing up, I remember I didn't know that there was a women's national team. And when I like found out about it, it was like mind blowing. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know that this whole other world existed because I had just grown up playing baseball with all guys besides like my sister and I were basically the only two girls on the team growing up our whole lives. So yeah.
Nice. So how have you seen the sport grow over the years?
Well, I feel like in terms of women involved with the game, there's more women involved with the game at higher levels. For example, Ashley Stevenson, she's currently a coach with the Dunedin Blue Jays. So I feel like girls that are playing the sport right now are seeing like they have a role model, someone that they can look up to and maybe see themselves being in that position one day. Whereas she told me herself when she was growing up, that did not exist for her. She didn't have someone that she could look up to, like a woman in the sport and say, wow, like maybe one day I can be like her. But now she is that for girls and women in the country who are passionate about the sport and want to make it a career one day. So I think in terms of the number of women involved at higher levels, that's definitely growing, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's definitely something I've noticed over the last couple of years is a lot more women getting even into front offices in major league levels, even the minor league levels, getting into the coaching. I really think it's, as you said, it's good for women and younger girls to really be able to envision a future within baseball if that is something that they're, really passionate about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that representation is so important. I mean, you can be incredibly passionate about something, but if you can't see someone like you that exists in that space, then it's more challenging to get there probably. So
Yes. So in the sport, are there any misconceptions that you see that frustrate you as, either a reporter or even as a former player?
I don't know. I guess I remember growing up, like I did hear comments like, "Oh, like you should be playing softball," like whether it was from maybe players on the other team or coaches. So I think there's that misconception that maybe women should pick softball instead, but there are so many incredibly talented baseball players who are women in this country, and I think they have a space on the baseball diamond just as much as any boy or man does. Yeah.
Very true. Do you think that the women's baseball gets enough media coverage? And if not, what do you think needs to change for that to gain some more popularity?
I definitely think there is a gap in coverage. I just feel like there's so many untold stories that are out there that are important to tell, but maybe people aren't telling. So I don't know what I would say would need to change for that to happen. I guess continuing to grow the game, like at the grassroots level and having more girls and women involved with it. And I guess financial backing would be a big thing, like financially backing women's baseball would be important and just continuing to grow the game and then hopefully more stories come out of that.
Yes, I like that because there wasn't even now I still don't really see too much coverage of women's baseball at all. You may see a couple articles of maybe a coaching change here or there, but there hasn't been, that kind of big breakthrough that says, oh, this is a story that has come out from the Canadian women's national team and it's open for everybody to view it. And I think that's where the disconnect is from, say, someone like you that really knows a lot about the sport, and then more of like a casual viewer of the baseball community.
Yeah, yeah, no, it'd be great to have more stories written about it, and then that again, that's just more girls seeing, oh, like look at her, I can be like that too. So yeah.
So, do you think that the future of women's baseball is bright enough to see it getting popular enough to start a professional league here in Canada?
I definitely think so. I think there's the talent there and the potential for that. And actually, in talks with some players and coaches and like staff with the women's national team, I know that there is a league or a women's professional league that's in discussion right now. I'm not sure exactly what the
Okay.
stage is, but it's not, I don't believe it's in Canada. I think it's in like the United States, but I know that there's talk of that potentially happening. So I do think that there's the interest, there's the talent, and I definitely think that's something that we're going to see here in the near future, I hope. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I definitely, if that comes to fruition, I will definitely be tuning into that.
Me
Um,
too.
I kind of want to backtrack off of that. Back to you said you had played for the Newfoundland team growing up. How many other teams were there at that time? Because I assume that women's baseball wasn't as big as back then as it is now. And is there been a change in the number of teams participating, or has it always been, the same amount of teams the whole way through?
That is a good question. To my understand or to my knowledge, I believe that there's always been the same amount of teams and like it was provincial teams. So I believe there was one team from every province, maybe save for the maritime provinces. I don't know if there might have been um they might have been combined. Like I don't believe New Brunswick had a team, but I think there has always been like girls like provincial teams for baseball, at least for as long as I can remember, at least 10 years ago or however long it was. Maybe it was a bit longer now that I was playing for that team. I guess it was a bit longer, but yeah,
Okay, cool. I was just very curious to see if, there's been a change or not, but the fact that you said that there's almost a team for every province, I think that's a great start for gaining some popularity in the sport.
for sure. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And it gives the girls like somewhere to play. And I mean, I didn't even realize that provincial teams existed. I don't think like for girls when I was like playing baseball, and I can't remember exactly how I came up like I was able to play for Team Newfoundland, but I just feel like yeah, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but
No,
anyway.
everybody just needs an opportunity.
Exactly, yeah.
So getting back into some of the a little bit more about your past. So why is women's baseball so important to you?
I think just because of the experience that I had playing it growing up. I mean, before I was playing on teams with all guys besides my sister, and I feel like it was just such a great bonding experience. It really kind of fueled my love for the game even more, just getting to share that with other girls that were just as passionate about the sport as I was. So I think when girls play baseball with other girls, maybe it has the potential to grow the game even further for women in the country. It just gives them a safe space to play the sport that they love, and yeah,
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the camaraderie that you have with, their teammates, whether it be boys or girls. It's just, I think baseball is one of the games that you can kind of tune out everything else going on and kind of just focus what's on the field for, the 7 or 9 innings that you may be playing and kind of just have a safe space to relax and kind of de-stress from everything going around you.
exactly. Yeah. And I feel like those relationships never really like fade, even if
Oh
you
yeah.
haven't talked for years. I feel like you still will always like share that special bond of like one time in your life of being teammates. I mean, I still have I've been like throughout the years I've stayed in touch with some of the girls on that team, and you just always share that special bond of being teammates. Yeah.
Oh no, that's so nice. I have almost the exact same thing. There's been multiple times where I've seen pictures of, old teammates that I've had, and I've just reached out, send them over, and we end up, rekindling a friendship and that, like you said, that's just one of those friendships that never seem to die, no matter how long that you're apart from them. It's just that bond of, baseball that brings you back together always.
Yeah, it's yeah, definitely a special bond. And I know you were asking, yeah, I just wanted to add to the I guess why I'm so interested in women's baseball. I just know for me it gave me a lot of confidence and it helped me grow as a person, and you just learn such valuable skills. So I just want to see that for other girls and women in the country too.
Love that answer. So if there was one thing that you can change about women's baseball today, what would it be?
Well, I think this is an answer that I'm kind of taking from conversations that I've had with people who work for the women's national team who have been a part of it in the past. Just really the importance of growing the game at the grassroots level. And I believe it was Ashley Stevenson who said to me that like you need to have a solid foundation. Like you can't build something if you don't have that. So I think we're just really investing in the game at the grassroots level and um making these opportunities for girls in the sport so that they see they have a future in baseball and don't maybe go like and don't decide to switch sports. So I think just continuing to invest in the game at that level and grow the game for girls would be something I would like to see change. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just curious, how did you get into contact with Ashley Stevenson to get a conversation with her?
Well, we've kind of like I guess we've kind of developed I guess some like a relationship, like a professional relationship over time. So I just text her and ask her for an interview.
Oh,
Um,
just like that.
yeah, yeah. I guess or before it was probably a bit different, but now I think we're saved in each other's phones, I think. So yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to leave our listeners with? Any recent work that you have put out, or anything that you have upcoming, maybe that you would like to share with the people?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, for Pride Month, I'd like to do some sort of piece on a woman that's involved with the game. That's something that I would like to do coming up, and just hopefully tell some more stories of amazing women involved with the game as the summer goes on. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on here today, Melissa. I'm sure that everyone has learned something from you, including myself. I hope that the game of women's baseball continues to grow, and I hope that professional league comes into play, because definitely want to go and catch some games for sure.
Yes, me too. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat about women's baseball with me. It's something I'm super passionate about, and I appreciate the platform to be able to do that. So thank you.
No problem. It's my pleasure. So that's going to conclude today's episode of the On Deck podcast. I really wanted to thank Melissa again for, taking her time to really give us a deeper dive into women's baseball, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know women's baseball was a thing. And just to shed more light on it, get more people to look out for it, whether that be, in articles, or, even scrolling social media, getting to get familiar with some of the people that are within the game. I think it could be a great stepping stone for women's baseball as a whole. And again, just shining the light on an opportunity for women to continue to play baseball at a higher level. And who knows, maybe even go into coaching, like Melissa had talked about, or even front office roles that we see more and more as the years have gone by. But that's going to conclude it for today's episode. I'm going to link Melissa's X in the description below. Make sure to go check her out there. She's got some great articles that she's put out already. And like she said, she's got a couple more articles coming. So be sure to be on the lookout for those. I'm sure they're going to be more great reads, just like her other work. But don't forget to rate and review this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Just helps to get the podcast out there. And looking forward to seeing what happens this week in baseball. I'll be sure to cover all the headlines we got coming for you guys. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.